I know why Tom's not here. Where the fuck's John?
John gave up.
John was on like 3 episodes and then disappeared.
Did we run him out?
We ran him out. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the SideQuest. I'm buzzed right now. I'm Dolly Domofsky. I'm buzzed. Joining me is Aaron Kelly.
Hello.
Who is drinking.
Hell yeah, I'm drinking.
And I am Dolly. Wait, shit. Hold on, I already said that.
Don't worry, I'm not here.
Sam, hey Sam, how's it going?
It's all right, I guess. That's cool.
That's cool.
Did you pull a me from last week? Did you forget we were doing this and just go out and get fucking shit-faced hammered?
No, I went and got shit-faced hammered anyways.
Planned to do it.
And here I am. Yeah, I gotta have a good buzz going right now. I had a couple old fashions and a couple new fashions. I don't even know. It's lots of whiskey tonight. So if I fall asleep, if my head just slams down on the keyboard at some point during this podcast, just totally forgive me. Don't drink and podcast, people. It's not a good. Yeah, it's never mind. It's kidding. Drinking and podcasting is always good. How you guys doing? I don't know what's going on anymore.
I'm covered in chemical burns.
All right, good deal. Are you turning into a superhero right now?
No, I just have a laundry machine that doesn't rinse my clothes properly, and I had to work a shift in a shirt that still had soap in it.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't react super well to having soap on my skin all day, and now I've just got burns all over me. So
good.
Yeah.
Sam, do you have any burns on you, Sam?
I don't, but if we're talking about health-related issues, my guts.
Tell us about your bowel movements.
My Nickelodeon guts have been in pain for like a week and a half at this point, and doctors are perplexed of what is going on.
I heard they're gonna do butt stuff to you.
There may or may not be butt stuff. Some gastrointestinal experimentation going on towards the end of November. So Thanksgiving time should be just a real hoo-ha for me.
Quite literally, it'll be a real hoo-ha in the hoo-ha.
Yes, the turkey will be stuffed, and so will I.
Oh, I gotta get that rim shot. I almost said I gotta get that rim job going, but it's rim
yeah. I was ready to make a rim shot joke if you didn't make it yourself.
I mean, they'll probably have to lube it up, right? Get that hose in there.
I'm just gonna ignore the fact that it's gonna happen until day of, and we'll find out.
You should get the coffee enema.
As far as I know, it's some chalky liquid substance that starts with a B. I forget what the name of it is, but I think it's got a K somewhere there in the middle too.
Borosilicate.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good time, is the answer.
I don't want to be a roommate at PAX East this year.
Well, you want to bring up PAX East? There was that one year, remember, where I did have a bunch of intestine problems. We went to eat, and I was like, guys, I can't poop. I couldn't poop for 2 whole days. I have no idea what happened that trip.
All right, I just want to throw this out there. Isn't that the optimal thing to happen at a convention?
It really is, except for when you can feel that you should be having to go, and all of it is still there in your chest somewhere. And that pressure won't go away.
The only time in my entire life that I've ever been constipated, it lasted for about a week, and for the first 5 days I was fine, and just looking at my stomach, what's going on down there? Why ain't I pooping? And then on day 6, all I could feel was really intense butterflies. That feeling when you go over a roller coaster, as you start to drop, there's that, oh God, right there. All I could feel was that in my tum-tum all day. And then on the 7th day, God himself, I pooped.
My grandfather was constipated for 7 days once. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, he's dead now though, so it doesn't.
Whoa, nice. Anybody got any happy news to move on to? Get away from people's guts.
We'll have to have you come with us to PAX East, Aaron. Maybe you can actually swing that this year. Get your freaking passport going now.
I don't have any money. I can't get a passport. I'm living paycheck to paycheck.
That's true. Selling bongs. Well, hey, marijuana has now been legalized here in Michigan, so
congratulations.
You can join us and sell bongs here and be bongs here and be
my store since legalization has literally doubled in business.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. I live in a village of 500 people. How many bongs could I realistically sell? But business is just increasing.
499.
Because the one person can't sell them because he's working there.
To be fair, in college, everybody I knew that owned a bong didn't just own one bong.
Yeah, a lot of my customers are collectors. They're like, oh, check this fucking thing out. This is art. I'm like, yeah, it is. And then they buy it, and I'm like, I don't fucking. It's a piece of glass. Who gives a shit? But they're gone, and I have their money, so no takesy backsies.
No takesy backsies, as Kanye West would say. I like McDonald's. Did you guys see his tweet?
Was that real?
Yeah. And Burger King roasted him. I don't know what's going on tonight, guys. I don't fucking know. I'm so tired. I'm buzzed. I'm drinking coffee. We're not sponsored by anybody at all. We are totally unbiased.
I'm gonna have to start demanding.
We got that lucrative advanced warfare sponsorship.
Somehow, as the dad of this podcast, I'm gonna have to start demanding that the children don't drink beforehand.
Never. Hey, listen, I think I did a good job last week, considering.
True. You survived. You survived it.
I managed to get through all my news last week.
That's true. We're gonna get to news to this week. To news to this week. To news to this week at some point.
Oh my god.
Holy shit, this is so bad. I'm so sorry, listeners and viewers. Let's talk about what we've been playing. I'll let you guys know right off. I haven't been playing much. I've been playing Octopath Traveler, so I'm on that. I can't wait to talk to you about it, Tom, when you get online. Octopath Traveler, Goaty. 2018. I'm playing that, and I love that it's. I'm finally diving back in. I love that it's a mix between Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy IV. A little bit of Dark Souls, trying that out. Kind of bouncing back and forth between the two. And I'm actually going through the Dragon Quest games on iOS. I'm on Dragon Quest 2 after completing Dragon Quest 1. And man, Dragon Quest 1 is a horrible game. So old, and it does not hold up whatsoever. I think a proper remake would have to, like, from the ground up, need to be remade. So that's all I've been playing. What about you guys? What have you been playing? Somebody?
I've been playing Red Dead.
You did it.
I did it. I don't like it.
You don't like it? Why? Tell us.
I don't know, man. It's just. I remember when I played Red Dead 1, I was really digging on the story, and I hated every other aspect of that game. Like, I didn't like the way it controlled, and I didn't like most of the characters, and I think that's probably intentional. Like, most of the characters in Red Dead 1 were assholes, and then so it's like whatever. I finished it, and like I was happy I finished it. Like, I was happy that I had seen it through, not that I was done with it. But now with Red Dead 2, it's like they said, how do we make an even more fucking plotting game with a character that controls worse than the last time, and we're not going to give you really any direction? And yeah, you all are going to eat it up. And I'm just like, nah, this sucks. I don't know. It's just...
Like, what is it? Like the pacing of it? Is it the controls? Is it everything? Is it?
It's
a whole Wild West?
Okay, so number one, the main dude, Arthur Morgan, controls like dog shit. He controls like he at some point had his back broken, and he is the first recipient of some sort of life-changing prosthetic that lets him walk again. But they're still experimental, so he has to go very slow, and his turn radius is that of a tank. And it's just not fun to play.
He belongs in Resident Evil.
Huh? Kinda, yeah. And the pacing is like kind of non-existent. like it's an open world game, so you go to the icon to start the mission, and then any mission in isolation is usually kind of fun. Like I just did one where uh you're talking to John, John Marsden from the original Red Dead Redemption. Um and he's like, "All right, I got an idea to rob a train, but first we got to steal a wagon with an oil barrel on it." And you're like, "All right, I'll steal it." And then you go and steal it, and it turns into like this big chase scene. You're getting shot at, and if you take too many shots, the wagon blows up, and that sucks. But it's a really fun mission. But all the shit in between it sucks. And then I stole the wagon, and then I got a crazy bounty on me, which sucks because I could not see a way to do that mission without killing people. And I guess there probably was a way, but so I got a crazy bounty on me. So now I kind of can't go to town anymore. And if like cops see me out on the field, like they just come at you, and it sucks. And I can't pay it off because I can't go. Like I don't have any money. I don't know how to make money in that game. And it's like, all right, I guess I'll go hang out in the woods for a while and hunt some shit. But your horse can only carry like one animal. You can carry like an animal and two birds or something like that. And then your horse is full. You can't hunt anymore. It's like, all right, I guess I'll go drop this off at the camp because there's a guy you give that shit to. And he doesn't give me any money for it. So I don't really know why I'm doing it. Yeah, I don't know. All the shit outside of the specific missions is just like, there's no point to it. If I could just go mission to mission, it'd be really, really cool. But, so I've been playing that.
Does it sort of require you to do some of these side missions and outside stuff, or?
Maybe. I don't even know how to get new guns, man. Like every gun that I've got so far, the game gives me. And can you upgrade them? Can you buy new ones? Fuck if I know. If I can, I can't afford it.
That game has like little tip menus that come up on the top left, but it waits until you like stumble across stuff to show you that. Like the first time I was in a gun store was the first time that like the game mentioned, oh, by the way, you can buy guns from these stores. Like, I mean, other than the gun icon in town, there's really no notification of like, this is the place where you pick up guns or they can maintain their guns here or whatever. I didn't mention it last week, but I've been finding myself like playing that for about 45 minutes to an hour and then being like, okay, I'm cool here. Where like any other open world game, I'm always like going from mission to mission being like, one more. Okay, like one more. But something about Red Dead 2, it's just you play it for so long and like sort of the systems like build up against you and you're like, okay, I'm done for the evening. I'm enjoying this, but like I got to go do something else before I hate this game. And I agree. I don't think it's very well paced, and like knowing what you should do minute to minute doesn't really get explained to you until like you're out of chapter 2, which is probably about 10 to 12 hours into that game. And I mean, we've all been proponents of if it takes 10 to 12 hours to start enjoying a game, like, is it worth your time?
No.
So I think Red Dead's the test of that, right? Like, are you willing to brute force your way through this experience to find whatever fun everybody else is having? And I think people are more willing to deal with it because it is a Rockstar game, because they feel like that GTA is like just on the other side of this side quest or this mission and stuff. And like even some of the like stuff that you explained about like, you can only put one animal on your horse. You can put multiple pelts, but only if they're of a certain size of animal, and you can only carry like one carcass.
If you get a big animal's pelt, that takes up the slot that otherwise an animal would go on, and so you're out of space.
Yeah, and if you happen to like run across somebody that's like, Mister, I need to ride back to town, like you either have to give up that like perfect pelt.
Mister.
You either have to give up that perfect pelt you found to carry them back into town, or you just leave them die there, which gives you like bad hombre points.
Here's the worst part. So that happened to me, except it happened to me. There's a mission really early on where you go to hunt a bear with one of the camp members, and it's a legendary bear, and it's like the hunting tutorial basically. Like it teaches you tracking and stuff like that. And there's another mission that does that too, but this is like teaching you about like hunting legendary animals, I guess.
Yeah.
So I skinned the bear, and I got the bear on my horse. And at the end of the mission, Buddy's like, so we going back to camp, or are you going to hang out here? And I'm like, I guess I'll hang out here because I'm going to finish this bear off. He's like, all right, I'll see you later. And he leaves, and I finish the bear off. And that moment was very cool. And then I put the bear skin on my horse, and I get on my horse and I start riding. There's a damsel in distress trapped under a horse that's collapsed, and she's like, "You got to help me." And I'm like, "All right." I get off my horse and I help her lift this fucking body up, and she gets out, and she's like, "Great, now I need to ride back to town." And I'm like, I'm not going to leave my fucking legendary pelt here, so you're on your own. And then later on, I found out apparently that if you just dump your legendary pelts in the woods, like just leave them, they'll just teleport to camp.
Yeah, and it only tells you that if you happen to leave a pelt behind somewhere.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's their way of like getting around like pelts being like glitched into water or something like that. Because I had a friend who killed a legendary animal, skinned it, got attacked by another animal, and that pelt just floated straight down the river. And they thought for sure that that was gone, but then like hours later they came to the trapper and it was just sitting there.
Yeah, and it's like is it all pelts? Could I just go on a spree and like kill 20 animals and skin them and just drop their fucking pelts on the ground?
Eradicate the west of deer. Like I think it only works for like legendary or perfect pelts.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% on that. But like even you said, that horse thing, like you can get around that by, multiple horses, if you have bonding with them, will listen to your instructions. So you, in theory, could take like 2 or 3 horses out while you're hunting and like load that many, pelts or whatever onto those horses. But that's a real pain in the ass to get one horse to listen to you correctly, let alone 2. I used to do this thing where like if you were in a transaction and somebody died, you could take their horse and take it to the stable. And this is going to sound horrible, but I found out it's usually more beneficial to you to just shoot that horse in the mouth and search its like saddlebags and just take whatever.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I mean, I still really like the game. But like it is poorly paced, and I am slowly playing through it just because I don't think I could get through a 2-hour session of that game and not hate it at the end of it.
Yeah. And it just, I don't know. It sucks because, like, a lot of the characters they introduce are really, really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a half black, half Native American member of your gang named Charles. And he's the one who gives you the bow really early on in the game, like really early on in the game. I think in chapter 1 even.
Yeah.
And you and him go out hunting for animals so everybody doesn't starve. And then you go hunt with him a couple more times, at least to the point where I am. And he's just got like a really cool story. And it's like, fuck, I want to do more shit with him, but like you don't get any side activities with him.
Later on down the line, you start doing more stuff with people in camp. Really, like what I find like super interesting is they do a very good job of showing like the interconnected relationships of different characters. So like John, they mentioned that John is now like the golden boy of the group, where like your character Arthur used to be the golden boy, and like how that has sort of affected their relationship and like his relationship to Dutch, and Hosea, the other like sort of leader of the gang. And there's like a mission that you kind of like go out with Hosea and Dutch, and they mention like we're the 3 amigos, or we're the 3 originals back at it again, like discussing like old times and how the group has changed over the years and stuff like that. And that stuff is like the most incredibly like interesting part of that. But I running into strangers, I've ran into like 4 people that have been like, "Oh, snake bit me," like.
Yep.
Give me some medicine or suck the venom out. And I'm like,
I'm gonna suck this venom out, and don't you ever tell anybody about it. And
yeah,
let's just pretend this never happened.
Yeah, it's like the same scenario every single time. And like, I feel like in this one especially, like you get barraged with strangers and like these random instances like all the time. Like I can't go anywhere without running into 1 or 2 of those, and they tend to get annoying.
Can I be honest?
Like that.
I've just started killing them because they've usually got something worth something on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it all started because I walked up this hill. I was in like one of those stranger zones, like how the map kind of goes white. And I was walking up this hill, and there was a dude by it, like a dead horse or something. And as I got up to him, I heard a gunshot, and I saw a gun in his hand. And later on, I realized that he was just shooting his horse because he was pissed off. But as soon as that gunshot went off, I fucking blew his head off. just immediately. And I was like, and then the stranger done, and then I looted him, and he had like, you know, a fucking like a pocket watch worth like $50 or some shit on him, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
what's going on here? And so now, like, strangers best avoid my Arthur Morgan because you ain't walking away from me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you mentioned about that oil like mission specifically. Like, there's so many like outcomes per mission that I feel like not that Rockstar didn't account for them, but they didn't account like what sort of position that would put the player in. Because you mentioned about how you got like a huge bounty off of that, and now you have to pay it back.
Yeah.
But like I did that mission, and I just put I put a mask on and jumped over the wall, got onto one of the oil carriages, and then just drove it straight out, ran over a dude at the gate, and no one followed me.
Yeah, so what I did was I put the mask on, and then I was standing like way outside the gate, like near one of the bushes, and I pulled the bow out because I was like, this is a quiet weapon, and then I shot the dude at the gate with the bow in the head, and it killed him, and I immediately got a bounty. And it was all these witnesses, and then the bounty went up and up and up. And then one of the horses, when I killed the guy, spooked, and they ran the oil wagon right out to me. So I just hopped on it and drove away. I never went in the base. And then on the way out, a bunch of cops were coming to check the scene out. I still had the mask on, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then that was when the wanted symbol changed from just wanted to wanted Arthur Morgan, so I was known, but I had the mask on the entire time. It's like, all right, well, that's a bit of bullshit, but all right, fuck it.
Well, and something they don't specifically mention to you is people in town will eventually learn like what your horse looks like, what you look like, and what like the clothing your character is wearing. So like it's always like they don't mention this in the game, but it's important to have like an outfit on your horse that is specifically like, this is my bad boy outfit, and I'm going to do all my bad boy stuff in this. And then as soon as you're done being a bad boy, you switch. So like the cops are like, oh, we were looking for this dude in a red hat, and I don't see any man in a red hat over here. Do you? No, definitely not this guy. And they just like walk away. But the game doesn't explain that to you. And the only reason like anybody's found that out is because like people have started to discuss it online. Like, you know, I have a group of friends that are playing the game, and we've been sharing like these sort of like little tips and tricks that we found out. Like there's a mission that teaches you that you hit one button and Arthur will raise his gun into the air and shoot his gun into the air as like a threat, as opposed to like, you know, just shooting at the ground or pulling your gun on somebody. But you have to get to that mission before the game will teach you that. But like you could have used that like 30 times in different situations leading up.
I'm pretty sure I accidentally did that in Valentine one time when I was just in town and accidentally fired my gun, and then the sheriff ran up to me, and then I put it away because I was like, fuck. And the sheriff walked up to me and he was like, the fuck, man? You know, and then you get the dialogue options like antagonize or diffuse or whatever. So I picked diffuse, and I'm just like, you know, just nothing happened. Don't worry about it. And the sheriff's like, all right, you just leave town. I'm like, fucking fair enough, I guess. So I turned around and started walking away, and then I was like 10 or 12 steps away, and the sheriff goes, yeah, that's right, get on, get. So I turned around and shot him, and then everybody in the town ganged up on me.
Get on, get.
Well, that sounds like that was your fault. I would assume.
You got me. The get on, get.
He didn't need to say anything. We were done. I was leaving.
See, but that's the thing. It's moments like that that make Red Dead cool. It's just that you got to get through some shit before like moments like that start appearing. And even then, like sometimes, you know, you could go a full play session, and have that not happen.
Full PlayStation. I'll get on, get.
The other thing about this game that's kind of really putting me off is it is surprisingly buggy. Like, even in the most mundane of shit, like, there's the usual open world stuff where, like, you put something down on the ground, there's a chance that maybe it'll get glitched into the rocks or something like that, and then you're just like, I can't get that anymore. But I made a tweet about this. I was playing dominoes against Hosea in camp the other day, and we were just playing, and I was like 3 rounds deep or something, and then Hosea floated up out of his chair while still sitting all the way off screen until only his legs were hanging on screen, and then his arm stretched down from off screen, impossibly long, played his domino, blocked my tiles, and then he won the match, and then he was just like whoop, whoop, back into his seat.
Have you seen some of the glitches that have been being posted online? I mean, they're like Skyrim level glitches. You'd think Bethesda made this game.
A lot of them, a lot of the glitches seem to happen in camp. It's like the place you hang out the most has the worst problems.
Did you guys see the one I posted? The one I posted in the Discord about when Arthur is meeting up. I forget who he's meeting up with, but he just starts spinning on the ground wild.
He's talking to Duck.
Yeah, that one's really good. My biggest issue, I haven't run into too many glitches other than I don't have like the certain people in camp. Like I have that glitch that's going on, which sucks. At least Rockstar admitted it's a thing and they're trying to fix it now. But my biggest issue is why in the hell did they make the punch button the like get out of menu button? Because like you're sitting there mashing circle to get out of a menu, and you'll just be, you know, sitting there playing poker with somebody and you're like, all right, I'm going to get up and go do something. And you'll mash circle to get out of poker, and Arthur will just stand up and immediately punch the person right next to him. And you just start a bar fight by complete accident.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. My ultimate, I hope it gets better. I'm going to keep playing it, but my ultimate opinion so far is that I wish I could skip all the shit in between the missions and just go from mission to mission. Like this would be super cool if it was like a series of vignettes almost, like literally nothing between missions, just like mission starts, you run the mission, all the stuff that's in there right now that even ties into like dialogue and conversations that happen in between stuff, all that stays the same. Mission ends, next one starts up, the time has passed, and they're just having new conversations, leaving you to fit like write it, you know, basically imagine in your head what they're referencing. Like that would be super cool. Like, but it's not that. It's a big open world game. There's a bunch of fucking nothing in between all the good stuff.
Well, speaking of good stuff, have you been playing any other stuff besides Red Dead?
No, that's pretty much it. I finished up that Thronebreaker thing, and that got published. And
yeah, you could read that.
Yeah, I think that's all I've been. I think it's just Red Dead. I think that's the only thing I played last week.
What about you, Sam?
I mean, mostly Red Dead. I jumped back into the PC version of Valkyria Chronicles to set up the video that Tom and I will be recording at some point. So I got a little. I played the game fully on Switch, but PC's where we're recording the video just because it's easier to make that happen. But other than that, I've been spending a lot of time in waiting rooms recently. So I've been playing.
For your butt
and other reasons. But I've been playing a lot of Pixel Puzzle Collection by Konami on mobile.
Oh, that's the mobile. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's just a collection of Picross puzzles, essentially, that are all like Konami themed.
Downloading it now.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. You don't get to choose which puzzles you tackle in what order, which kind of sucks. But every like 3 or 4 hours, there's like a boss fight, which is like a much harder puzzle. And it's like all the puzzles are based off different super old like Konami arcade games. And it plays like some like Galaga music and is it Galaga? Does Konami own Galaga? I think
so, yeah.
You know, it plays like some old like Castlevania music and old music like that in the menus. And some of the puzzles are based on specific games. So like it'll play like that game's music and stuff like that if you have your audio on. And it's not a bad game. You know,
How good are Picross games though? Picross are phenomenal. It's
just like an easy game to figure out. Like I used to be super into Sudoku, and like I kind of just got bored of that because eventually, like, you know, you figure out like all the systems to figure out like every Sudoku puzzle in the world, and you're like, all right, well, I'm kind of done here. And Picross has that same type of thing. It's like once you learn like the counting and like you know how to like, you know, because these two lines don't have this line has to have this like system. Like, you know, it kind of like every puzzle kind of boils down to the same thing at some point. But I don't know. I think it gives a good enough challenge to, you know, just burn 5 minutes here or there, like while you're in a waiting room or, you know, waiting on a call or something to just rip one of those puzzles out real quick.
Cool. Good. All right. So that's it. That's all we've been playing. Nothing else important. I know there's a bunch of games coming out now. It's November, so we have I think Pokemon is next week. Fallout 76 is like the beginning of the week after that. So
Fallout 76.
Fallout 76,
Yeah.
baby.
Oh, I will say the one other thing I've been playing, the demos for Persona 5 and 3
Oh,
Dancing
that's right. Yeah.
came out on PlayStation, and I wish people would download it and try it, and then buy the full game, because man, those games are still bangers, and they got a great soundtrack, and that game comes out December 4th.
Now I'm to understand that in the Persona 5 Dancing demo, Anne references a cat's boner.
She might. Right. I've only played like each song like once, so I haven't really gotten to know Anne's dialogue in those demos, but possibly.
That's good to know.
Yeah, cat boners. They're spiked. Boners. Think about that.
Excellent. Okay, let's get into some news. How's that sound?
Yeah, you got anything? You want me to kick it off?
I think one or two of mine are going to be on your list. So let's just go ahead and start.
All right. Well, since we already brought it up, Fallout 76. That's a fucking thing, huh?
It's coming out soon.
Is that the news? Fallout 76. That's a fucking thing.
My headline is literally Fallout 76 is all kind of catawampus, because it's been having some real issues, and the reason it's news is because on Reddit, the official Bethesda Game Studios Reddit account on the Fallout 76 subreddit made a post, thank you, and addressing your feedback. And then they listed a bunch of things that they're working on for the official launch, and none of it seems to address the problems.
Oh,
like, so some of the problems that the game has had is that movement speed was tied to frame rate. So you could look at the ground to get better frames and move faster, so you could just avoid every fight. Like, you could run away from animals, run circles around them, shit like that. And then it was really buggy, and like the inventories weren't big, and so the field of view kind of sucks, and there was no way to turn voice chat off, and there's no text chat, I guess. So people were like, "Give us push to talk, give us text chat," and so what they've said is they're going to support ultra wide monitors, so 21 by 9, so cool. They're going to increase the stash size, so yay. Push to talk. While we aim to create a consistent experience no matter what platform you're on, we understand that some of you on PC would like the option for push to talk. Our goal with voice chat being on by default is to highlight that the world is alive with real people, other players like you. We'd like to start with encouraging player interaction, and originally it said, and we'll look into adding this in the future, but that has since been struck through and says, we'll be adding this in the near future. So, yay. The FOV slider, they're not going to add it. They said you can just zoom out to third person if you want that.
Oh,
jeez. They said the exploits and the bugs and the glitches and stuff that people have been using, they haven't gone into specifics, but they just said, we've seen them reported, they're known, they'll be addressed in a future update. So at launch, I imagine all that shit's still going to be in there. And then some other stuff like social menus and friends lists and stuff like that. And apparently one of the bugs in the game is that if you're just running around, you'll constantly hear like gunshots near you, just as part of the background track, not from like players. And they're like, yeah, those are really loud. We're going to work on those.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that's Fallout 76. Fuck, what else?
What about go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, wasn't there also like the PC players found out that game is easily moddable, and we're like doing that to the beta?
Yep. Yeah, that game is those are the other two things that aren't included in this list. Number one, that game is super easily moddable. Number two, your sent and received data is not encrypted, so anybody in the same session as you with the right program can just grab your information.
Dope.
Yep.
Dope.
And they've not said whether or not they're going to fix that. But yeah, so that's Fallout 76. That sounds like a real good time.
Sounds like a great time. Sounds like a wonderful time. Do you have any Do you have any news stories about other great times, like maybe where people gather at like some con or something somewhere?
I do. And it is that Fortnite, where 100 people gather into an arena.
Dick.
Fortnite had a giant purple cube. It exploded, and apparently, when it explodes, everybody in the match is just like floating in space, and they're like weird space butterflies, and so that's the thing. I don't know if it means anything because
Fortnite. Anything that happens in Fortnite tends to mean something, so I'm sure it means something.
It's basically I didn't get to experience the thing in game, but essentially every time something like that has happened, there's been kind of alterations to the map. This season has been super crazy with that. There was like a cube that slowly started, formed, and then slowly started moving around the map and forming runes, and then like weird like anti-gravity places. And like then that cube exploded, which caused that nonsense. And like Loot Lake has like turned into Leaky Lake, I think now. And it's just basically a way for them to change like large swaths of the map without without like making a new map or like pissing off players. Just give them a way to like, the map change is interactive.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a video of it. It looked cool. But speaking of huge groups of people all out for murder,
it's my favorite story of the year.
BlizzCon. BlizzCon. That was a thing. Hey, I got a question for you two.
Yeah.
So do you guys have phones?
Yeah. Look at that! I do. I got one.
Nah, I talked about a mobile game earlier, but I don't have one.
Yeah, there's tons of BlizzCon news. The other stuff. Actually, I guess we got to touch on the fucking Diablo thing first.
I guess.
So they like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks prior to BlizzCon, Blizzard on the Diablo forums made a post that basically said that there would be no news about Diablo 4 in their usual like cryptic Blizzard way. So then BlizzCon happened and they did all their shit, and then the big Diablo reveal was Diablo Immortal, which is a reskinned mobile game that exists in China and is now a Diablo game, and people were not happy about it. People were very not happy about it.
Thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Is this now the season April Fool's joke? Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Yeah. It comes down to like, it's not a reskin. Like Blizzard came out and said that. And like it is a Diablo game like set in between the lore. But like you don't have to play it. There's the argument of voting with your dollars. Like people are arguing that, well, there's still going to be whales no matter what. Even if I don't play, there's going to be people that play. But like I don't understand how like a Blizzard game that you don't play doing well is a bad thing for you.
Yeah, right.
Like yeah, it might make more mobile games down the line, but like that also means they have more money to make the games you want to see. So
speaking of more mobile games down the line,
yeah.
Blizzard came out and said that they're working on a bunch of mobile games. So that's already a thing happening. So suck it up, whiners, I guess.
Suck it up, whiners.
On top of that, Blizzard has also said that they have multiple new projects that didn't seem to be mobile focused. They come out and said that there's an interview from BlizzCon on Game Informer, where basically it boiled down to the fact that they have 5 different teams right now working on other shit. So, I mean, the Blizzard stuff is coming. It's just, right now they've got Diablo Mobile. Well, played or don't.
So my thoughts on this, because of course everybody has to give their opinions, is that, and I think I've mentioned this online in a few places, Blizzard totally part of my drunkenness is wearing off. Blizzard's slightly at fault, and only in that they should have understood who their crowd was going to be. You didn't need to like have your big mic drop be a mobile game. But but at the same time, exactly like what you're saying, Aaron, which is like, hey, listen, this is not your style of game. Just like, don't play it. It's literally not affecting any of the stuff you're playing today, and you will potentially play in the future. Like, this is literally nothing.
No, but Dally, don't you understand? It's not the thing I wanted.
Oh, God. Okay, well then that's it. Yeah, totally agree with you. You're right.
I tell you what, Blizzard did give me what I wanted, which was another Overwatch hero, and Ashe is fun to play.
Did you see that shit on Twitter? Like 20 minutes after that reveal?
No, are you talking about the Widowmaker thing? Or
Yep.
From the cinematic model that they used in the Ashe cinematic, Ashe and McCree cinematic, somebody found out that if you transition the picture of Ashe to a picture of Widowmaker, that she has this exact same facial structure
and eyelashes.
And eyelashes as Widowmaker. I don't think in game. I think her chin is different in game though. Like I remember looking at the in-game character model and being like, I don't think that's like I don't see Widowmaker in that, but just ogling it. Well, I did go through all the skins and see what they were gonna look like, but no, I guess I could have added that to my games I've been playing. Is I'm playing Overwatch PTR now on PC every once in a while.
Nice.
She's fun. She's a good addition to that game.
Is she hit scan or projectile?
I want to say she's hit scan, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I've only played like maybe a handful of matches, but she is a character that I've wanted for a while. That's like a very good shield disruptor. Like she is like a stick of dynamite she can throw, and you can tuck it in behind like a Reinhardt shield or a Brigitte shield. And have it explode. And if you shoot it, it does a bigger area of effect, more damage, and the burn, I think, lasts longer. I could be wrong on that stuff. I do know the blast is bigger, for sure. But that burn is going to be really nice because it's going to force like tanks and stuff to have to either reposition or drop their shields, which will allow damage to get in there. So I think she's a good addition to that character, to the character pool. Plus, her ult can make a 6v6 fight turn into a 7v6 fight. So that's going to really affect some team fight metas. So I'm looking forward to her being added and people figuring out her shtick.
The other thing was, did you see somebody tried to math out the lore and figure out the age of McCree?
No, but I'm sure he's like 100 years old.
Yeah, they figured out that based on the information that's been given, which includes him founding the Deadlock Gang, which he is a part of. Him being recruited into Blackwatch, Overwatch and Blackwatch collapsing, and how much time has passed since that he is 17, 27, and 39, I think, all at the same time. But yeah. Overwatch.
Still a fun game. Probably will continue to be a fun game for years to come.
Yep.
Sticking with the Blizzard, and Cyril won the StarCraft 2 World Championship. He's a Swedish player, I believe. He's the first non-Korean ever to make it to the finals, let alone win it. So it's not really news, but I love StarCraft 2, so it's kind of news. It's big. It's a big deal.
Yeah,
he beat a lot of really good players to get there, and he beat a lot of really good players to win it. So congrats to him. He's a Zerg player, and I'm a Zerg player, so Zerg represent.
I still want to get back into the game. I
want to nerd out here for a second about it.
Yeah, sure.
His matches are online. Various people have hosted them, and his game 4 is the greatest Zerg versus Zerg I've ever seen. It's just, there's fights happening all over the map, like 3 or 4 fights at a time. And you can see him winning each of those, but just barely. So he's the one with units left over, but not enough to really notice until he's done that so many times that he's got a full fucking army. Oh, it's so good. It's wild. Yeah. Speaking of companies that are like Blizzard,
your segues are just wonderfully on point.
Yeah, I love them. Fuck segue. There's some Riot Games news.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, there is.
Number one, do you want to see a K-pop video featuring a lot of really hot women that are also their characters in the game? because that's blowing up.
Yeah.
That I think the last time I checked, it had like something like 20 million views in 3 days or 4 days or something like that.
It was. I think it was at 12 million views, like after one day. And you gotta love Riot, committing like full hog to like this like K-pop thing, because they had a real K-pop artist like record the main tracks for this.
Two of them.
You had like actual like choreography for the dance, so much so that they made a choreography video for the song, like most K-pop groups would make for their songs in Korea. So like that's cool, and like then they're also have all those skins in game. So much so to even like the walking model of the one character is changed to specifically like how that character walks in that music video. So they really went out of their way with this KDA stuff.
Yeah, they went pretty big. And then the other Riot news is that they're being sued for gender discrimination by a number of current former women employees.
Yeah, they were riding high on the weekend, and then Monday came and it was like, by the way, lawsuit.
By the way, lawsuit.
So this is I actually think we talked about this when it first kind of went down, however many months ago. But apparently Riot is kind of a shitty place to work if you're female.
I know a few females who have worked there who no longer work there.
Yep. And there's a very good chance that one of them or many of them are involved in this lawsuit. But yeah, it just seems like a really shitty place. And when this all blew up the first time, Riot higher ups had said we're going to work on this, and I guess they didn't. And so now there's a lawsuit, and as far as I can tell, nobody at Riot has ever denied the accusations that it's a total like really kind of shitty bro-y place. So it seems like that lawsuit's going to work real quick.
Yeah, it really doesn't shock me that it's come to this. Back when like LoL like first took off, you know, they were really active in their forums. I can't think of the guy's name, but one of the founders, who is like a big character balance guy for them, used to get in the forums and just troll people left and right. So much so that he was given an ultimatum of either like be fired or stop going in the forums and trolling. I think he just chose not to go into the forums and troll anymore. But like that community and like it seems like with Riot support has always like weirdly been toxic, and they've gone over like multiple ways. They used to have a tribunal system. They still might, where like if you were like accused of toxicity or like AFKing in games and stuff like that, like your matches and chat logs would be brought before a panel of like other players, and those players got to vote on like what sort of punishment would get like handed down. But then like that led to its own form of trolling, and that like I don't know. It does not surprise me that we've gotten to a point where that toxicity of the community is happening inside of the actual studio itself.
Well, I mean, this is all conjecture here, but have you ever the guys who founded or started Riot, started League of Legends, that all of those people who made all of those different MOBAs were in one way or another part of the original Dota community. Like, and they just split off to do their own thing. Like Mark Merrill, I'm pretty sure, was one of the maintainers of the Dota map. Same thing with Ice Frog, who's working on Dota 2 for Valve. But that was always a shitty group of people. Like they were always like super exclusive and elitist, and I guess toxic would be the word now. But so the idea that a company founded by them would be that way doesn't shock me, in the same way that people who work at Valve complaining about Ice Frog being a dipshit doesn't shock me.
Yeah. It's totally a thing, right? Where these guys, like, they, instead of all working together on one game, which could have been like, you know, the PUBG or the Fortnite of MOBAs, they all decided to splinter off in their own groups because they probably just couldn't stand each other. You had Heroes of New Earth, you had League of Legends, you have Dota 2, and there was like Bloodline Champions and stuff like that.
There were so many.
There was like 5 different MOBAs that launched around the same time. Just League of Legends happened to be the one that took off because Dota was still like a year or two down the line.
Well, and the reason was because the reason, as as I remember it, I haven't looked into this in years, but the reason that they all did their own thing was because of like philosophical differences in the gameplay mechanics, where I think the guys who started Riot playing the original Dota map didn't like how last hitting mobs worked. And so they wanted to make a version of the game where that just wasn't a thing. Like you just didn't have to do it the way you did it. And they didn't want to deal with like being able to last hit your own mobs, like denying to stop people from getting gold, because that sucks. So they just didn't put that in their game. And then, Heroes of New Earth had all that, and Dota 2 has that. And so it was like a difference of gameplay philosophy for the most part. But
well, last hitting is part of League of Legends, but they used to have a character that would I don't know what the move was called, but it was basically consume, where he would deny he would deny a character or a minion from the other team, and they eventually pulled that. They hated how stealth worked, and they reworked that. Well, stealth used to be straight up broken, because you could use AoE effects that would just burn over time, like while you were standing next to other characters with a stealth character, and no one could see you, and you were just killing them. So like they reworked all that stuff, but yeah, it's it's a developer that has been arguably making the same game and nothing else for 8 years, and that company has worked on other projects and they've gotten canned, or they've never seen the light of day. And it just seems like it's always been kind of like a hierarchy of, we were here first, we founded this company, we know where the direction of this game's going, and it will continue going that way. And new blood comes in, and you get cool things like KDA, or you get like, spectator mode and all these types of things they've added through the years, but it's always had a toxic problem, and it sounds like the company has also.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So best of luck to the people suing Riot. Get yours.
Get yours.
On a lighter note, and totally unrelated.
Is it?
Matt Piscatella from
from
the MPD group released a screenshot in a tweet earlier today of the best-selling game by year for the North America region from 1996 to 2017. Have you guys seen this yet?
Yes, he did a great job of it.
Yeah. Some of those games I expected. Some of those games I would not have expected. Mm-hmm. Like Madden's on there a lot is the one that caught my eye. And like I always knew Madden did really well, but like best-selling game of a year, kind of surprised me. And every Call of Duty ever is on there. But not a lot of Grand Theft Autos on there.
Mm-mm.
I see Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't see Grand Theft Auto 4 on there. Yeah. I just thought that was kind of cool. So if everybody should go check that out. You can see the rise and fall of Nintendo starting back in 96 and slowly petering off over time.
Well, what was really kind of interesting was the Pokemon. I mean, the Game Boy stuff he posted was all Pokemon. I mean, it was like Pokemon. I think there was a couple Zelda games on there too, surprisingly, but all Pokemon Game Boy. But it's always interesting to kind of go back and see those old charts. Like, could you imagine if social media was around back then as well? And
right in the middle. Right in the middle is my favorite one. 2007, Guitar Hero 3, Legends of Rock.
Oh, God.
Best-selling game of 2017, Guitar Hero 3.
That's arguably the worst Guitar Hero game, too.
Yeah, Guitar Hero 2 was the best Guitar Hero game.
I like 3, actually. 3 was the first one I played.
3 is the one with Slash in it, right? And, like, I love Guns N' Roses, and I still didn't like that game.
It had a phenomenal soundtrack. 3 did.
Which one was the one that had Through the Fire and Flames? Was that 2?
No, that was 3.
Yeah.
So the very first apartment that I ever lived in, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment that housed 5 people. We had one console, PS2. We had a shitty TV, and somebody had gotten a copy of that Guitar Hero game, and we were all playing it and stuff, and we all sucked. None of us could play a song past medium. And then one day I got paid, and I bought myself like I think a quart of rum or something like that. And everybody else in the house was like, why don't you give me a little sip of that? Why don't you give me a drink? Because they were all broke ass. And I was like, all right, I'll make you a deal. You fucking beat Through the Fire and Flames on the hardest difficulty, and I'll buy you a 66er of whatever you want. They're like, fucking, all right. And like, sure enough, fucking 3 days later, two of them sat there for like almost 3 days straight, just taking turns playing it. And finally, they were both like, we both beat it. Where's our rum? Like,
yeah, Guitar Hero 2 came out, I think, like the week before the Wii and the PS3 came out. And then Guitar Hero 3 came out the following year for everything. So
yeah, it was in our high school. It was a race to see who could be Through the Fire and Flames first. And I was the first one to beat it on hard in my friend group, and I beat it 20 minutes before I went to give my senior graduation project presentation. And I remember walking into that presentation, be like, I could cuss at the teachers today, and I'm graduating. Like, there's not a chance that I don't walk down here with like a A+. Like, I did do well, but it had nothing to do with doing well in Guitar Hero before that.
Looking at the news here. The only other thing I have is that Square Enix news.
Yeah, go forward.
Square Enix reported a $33 million loss in the wake of their new studio.
Ouch.
Yeah, they announced a new AAA studio called Luminous Productions.
They announced that back in March, I think.
Yeah, and in the wake of that, they have announced a $33 million.
Whoops.
Square Enix reports a $33 million extraordinary loss as new AAA studio shifts focus. That's a gamesindustry.biz article.
So it wasn't because of The Quiet Man.
No, we'll have to wait on that.
That game is gonna sink Square Enix.
I think that's the best seller of this year. You're gonna have to add it to that list.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
20
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah,
but I just thought I'd throw that out there because Octopath.
Because Octopath.
No, but, to be fair, apparently this $33 million number would have been a lot worse if not for Octopath and Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
They both did apparently quite well, but still. So come on, Square Enix, release that Final Fantasy VII remake and make all that money back.
Yeah, like that game's coming out.
Yeah.
So there was news on that as well. I don't know if you guys.
I missed this.
Yeah. So the let me pull this up over here. The producers of the game of Final Fantasy VII. Was it crap? What's his name? Well, whatever. It'll come. Nomura said that he's like super excited to work on Final Fantasy VII. He's gonna finish up Kingdom Hearts 3 first, and while they're on the subject of Final Fantasy VII, there's talk of maybe even including some of the side content like Crisis Core and all that other stuff that they had come up with. So they're gonna either do everything or nothing, I think is what it boils down to.
Can't wait for that to be like a PS6 game.
Yeah.
Oh, can you guys believe that they made Advent Children playable as a video game?
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's
not even a good game.
What was that? Wait, what was that for?
Advent Children was the movie.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying if they made it into a game?
Yeah, like fuck it. This game's never coming out, so let's just tell them we're gonna make this CGI movie playable. Yeah, you can fight Sephiroth's children clones, I guess. Whatever the fuck they were.
I don't even fucking remember that game at all, or that movie at all. I remember like Cloud is in there and Tifa. That's about it.
I will say I never got to play that Vincent spinoff where it was like a third-person action game. I would like to try that.
That was Crisis Core, wasn't it?
Was that Crisis Core? I thought Crisis Core. I thought Crisis Core was the one.
You're right.
Like,
Dirge of Cerberus,
like Sephiroth or whatever. Like
Dirge of Cerberus is the one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, there was a lot of Final Fantasy 7 shit that nobody gave a shit about. Yeah. Oh yeah. From breaking news from the work Discord. Suicide Squad, Joker, and Harley Quinn skins in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds exist and will cost $45.
Oh my
Cost $45.
That's according to this tweet.
It's such a DC move to commit to putting skins in like the third ranked game instead of like going after
skins from a movie from 2 years ago that failed, that didn't do very well critically or fan wise.
Yeah, hey DC, you know who's doing it right is the NFL Players League that is bringing skins to Fortnite.
It's like they might at the same time, let's do that 300 sequel movie. Let's make skins based off of that. That was a movie. We can put them in PUBG. How about Spider-Man 3? We can put Spider-Man 3 in PUBG. Oh goodness, especially the dancing scene.
PUBG is also coming to PlayStation 4 by the end of the year, correct? Did they make that public or?
That's leaked all over the place. They haven't made it fully public yet, but I think it's basically
yeah, because the year exclusivity deal ends on December 1st, I want to say, with Microsoft. Even though, and I'm not sure if we're going to get to it in the news, but Microsoft is holding an event in Brazil.
Yeah, their XO18, whatever it is.
Yes, a fan event, which they planned after the announcement that there would be no Sony fan event this year, which was...
crap, guys, let's do this.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good announcement. But apparently that event will have Forza news. Let me find that tweet that I posted earlier. But we'll have Forza news. We'll have, I believe, Gears of War news. And also we'll have news about new PUBG stuff. Let me find the tweet. Also, Humble Bundle retweeted that tweet that Microsoft sent out with a little smiley face, a little winky face before it, kind of suggesting that maybe we'll start getting Xbox-based Humble Bundles. We just had a PlayStation one about a week or two ago.
We've done Nintendo ones before.
Yep.
They've done the PlayStation ones Humble Bundles quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also talk that they have mentioned that Sea of Thieves news, new Minecraft news,
Games Pass games. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's what I was going to mention is Games Pass. They hope to have a solution for Games Pass for PC users by the end of the year.
Oh wow.
So that would be a perfect place to kind of reveal some of that. As the Steam leak and ESRB leak, the best game of maybe this generation, Sunset Overdrive may be coming to PC, and I'll be playing nothing but that for a month if that happens. Thank you, Microsoft.
So just for clarification, the Joker skin is $20. The Harley Quinn skin is $25. You can buy the Harley Quinn clothes for $19.99. But her hair and her makeup and her baseball bat are $3 each. The Joker's hair and makeup cost $5 each.
Yikes!
And just to put this into perspective for everybody, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds costs $30. So if you want to play PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds as Harley Quinn, you're looking at paying for the game twice, basically.
Can I buy a bundle? That way I get the best of all my Joker madness?
No, you can't. You absolutely cannot. You have to buy them separately.
That's the killing joke right there.
Yep.
That's the killing joke.
And here's the best part. They're only available until January 30th for some reason.
Cool. I can't wait for those to go on the Steam black market for like $90 to $100 each.
Oh, God. I've got to give PUBG a try at some point, I guess.
Well, hey, speaking of that, it's free on Xbox for the weekend to try out, as well as PES 2019.
Isn't PUBG free on like iOS also?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can play the mobile version, but like, do you really want to be playing mobile games?
Yeah, we all have phones, don't we?
Listen, I'm gonna. As somebody who's played a lot of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, you don't gotta play that game.
You don't gotta play that game. Just play Fortnite.
Have you tried the Fortnites? Yep.
Oh goodness, is that it for the news?
Yeah, I think that's all I got. Let me just run to the right. Square Enix.
Good, because I want to go play Octopath Traveler.
Yep, that's all I got.
Hi, Tom. All right, well, good. It's going to be a crazy couple of weeks here as we get kind of the final push for games prior to December. I think, what's crazy is we have is Smash Brothers and the Game Awards. Are those the same night on the 7th of December, 6th of December? Are those 7th of December?
Is it? Oh, boy.
Let me check right now. The Game Awards 2018 are happening on December 6th. No, they're Thursday night, which means Smash is coming out the next day, Friday. So the minute you're done watching the Game Awards, you're going to head out and pick up your copy of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
How is Ultimate going to win Game of the Year if it comes out the day after the awards?
I wonder if they'll do some like weird reveal during about Smash Brothers Ultimate since it comes
See, I was just about to bring that up, but I don't think there's going to be a Smash Brothers reveal only because that Piranha Plant character isn't supposed to come out for like a month or two after the game, and then that means the next DLC character after that probably like 3 to 4 months later. Like, are you really going to tease a character announcement?
True.
I tell you what, I'm going to call it right now. If they tease a character announcement, it's Waluigi. That's the only way that makes sense for me for the Game Awards if they reveal a new character.
But he's like an assist trophy or whatever right now.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming from somebody who personally couldn't care less if Waluigi shows up or not. In fact, like I almost recommend against him because, like, what are you going to do? Just make him an Echo Fighter of Luigi? Like, I don't know. I feel like we're probably. Like, that seems like a good place for Nintendo to show, like, a look at, like, the Metroid Prime trilogy or, coming to Switch if it's going to. Or if, like, show us, like, 20 seconds of probably CGI footage of what Metroid 4 is going to look like.
Yeah, that could see something. Nintendo will definitely show something. Keep people people going. But we'll have more on that as it gets closer to our annual drunken stream along.
I'm so excited.
It's like one of my favorite events of the year.
It's so fun.
All right, everybody, that's it.
I don't remember last year's.
That's why it's so good, because you don't have to remember it. You just experience it.
It was, if I remember correctly, it was a lot of us being like, oh, we were totally right on that. And a lot of Katie going, what's going on?
That's true, yeah. What did I miss, guys? All right, friends, that's it for this week's episode of The SideQuest. I am Dolly Domovsky. You can find me at Dolly Domovsky. You can find us at sidequesting.com, at sidequesting on the Twitters, sidequesting TV all over the place, and like YouTube and Twitch. And you can also find us on Instagram. Look for I think it's sidequesting.com is our Instagram account. I created an Instagram for no reason.
Hey, you did.
And then where can we find you, Iran?
You can find me at Twitch at Scratty Bones. You can find me on Twitter at Scratty Bones. My most recent written thing is a hot take on Thronebreaker.
Yeah.
Which is on SideQuesting, a very good website about video games and other things. I think that's it. But give me Waluigi.
Where can we find you, Sam?
You can find me at Twitter at SamDI79 at twitter.com/that thing.
That thing.
I will say I've tweeted twice in November. And I'd like to mention one of those tweets was complaining about how the Spice Girls are going on a reunion tour, but only in the UK. And I am so heartbroken. I went opening day to my movie theater to see Spice World when I was like 7 years old.
I did too.
And
did you guys really?
I'm pretty sure I saw
amazing.
that movie like 3 times while it was in the theaters, and would have gone more if I wasn't like 8 years old and my mom had to drive me the whole time. I love the Spice Girls. I don't even care that Victoria Beckham isn't going to come along.
See,
Who
I was
cares?
going to say Victoria Beckham. You need to have all 5 of them.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
We're going to have to do a Spice Girls podcast, I think.
I would have gone and seen Guns N' Roses when it was just Axl Rose, and Slash is purely the most important part of that band. But Victoria Beckham, what is she too rich? What, she likes just living at home? Like she doesn't want to go on tour?
She has a muscle mass to support herself standing up is the problem.
Is that true? I don't. It doesn't matter. What matters?
She's very thin.
Okay, what matters is that they're going on tour, which means that maybe somebody can ship me a tour T-shirt from the UK.
Do you hear that, friends? Send us tour T-shirts.
Please, my British friends, my European friends, please.
I think we're gonna be. I think we do like a Spice World themed episode at least. That'll be our plan. All right, guys.
World.
That's it.
Don't leave me hanging, Sam. I know you know the lyrics.
I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear what you said.
I was singing lyrics to a Spice Girl song. I'm done. Goodbye.
Okay.
Take care, everybody.
See ya.